But since EXP and stuff isn't, you really don't benefit if you go solo.
I'm looking at you, Kirito. Hello everyone, XFalcon here and welcome to my Halloween special, and I will be playing the first 4 games in the That Hack series. You might be thinking, XFalcon, shouldn't you be playing horror games because it's Halloween? And no. As you've seen in my Tokyo Dark playthrough, I'm not exactly good with horror games, and at the same time, I skipped that opening intro. Anyway, as I was saying, I decided to play these games mainly because first, they aren't horror, and second, That Hack GU Last Recode, which is the remaster of the sequel of these first 4 games, the trilogy sequel, as well as another volume added to that. It's a remaster of those games. And so yeah, before I go start and play those games once they are released in November, well, I'll go finish this first 4 games, so that we all get refreshed with the story and all that. And for those that are first time viewers or maybe knowing about That Hack for the first time, yeah, this is just to give you a short synopsis of what this is all about. Basically, this is about a virtual reality MMORPG called The World, and so yeah, we're controlling a character that plays the game, of course. And well, in case you can't wrap your head around that, I'm gonna assume that most of you know Sword Art Online, and no, Sword Art Online is bad. Nah, I'm just kidding. I mean, for me, it isn't that good, and the That Hack universe is way better in my opinion. No bias, of course. I've played and watched both, and yeah. Anyway, That Hack is a really special place in my heart because I've played this way back in high school, I think. Or was it elementary? I don't remember. Anyway, yeah. And I first played the GU games actually, which is the sequel of this first 4 games that I mentioned. So, and I played these 4 games after playing those games. And just to give you guys a short disclaimer, this game is quite dated, graphics and gameplay wise, so I know some of you might not appreciate that. And so yeah, I'm just saying, just so you guys will know. But for me, I personally don't mind that. So yeah. Anyway, let's start. The first game is called That Hack Infection. The 4 games have this different names, and so they are usually this group of 4 games are usually called That Hack IMOQ, which stands for Infection, which is Part 1, Mutation Part 2, Outbreak Part 3, and lastly Part 4, Quarantine. And so yeah, as for the voiceover here, I decided to, although I prefer Japanese, so that I won't be hearing, or at least if ever the dub doesn't sound good, good as in, yeah, you get what I mean. I won't be able to get it because it's in Japanese, and I'm not a native Japanese speaker, so I won't be knowing if the dub is bad. Unlike with English, although I'm not a native English speaker, I understand what they say. So I can easily more notice if something's shitty about the dub. But nevertheless, I'll be going with English because so that it's easy for you guys to follow. Especially we've got lots of dialogue in this types of games. So instead of using Japanese, let's use English so you guys can easily follow with what's happening. Anyway, let's start.
Der Mann des Schattens, auf der Suche nach dem Abendrachen, ist noch nicht zurückgekommen. Der Herd der Finsternis grollt. Helba, Königin der Finsternis, stellt schließlich ein Heer auf. Alparon, König des Lichts, grüßt sie. Und sie treffen sich am Fuße des Regenbogens. Die verfluchte Welle muss gemeinsam bekämpft werden. Der See von Alba brodelt. Der große Baum des Lichts fällt. Alle Macht zerfällt zu Tropfen im Tempel von Arche Köln. Wesen ohne Schatten, ihre Welt zerfällt zu nichts. Der Mann des Schattens auf der Suche nach dem Abenddrachen kehrt niemals mehr zurück.
Okay, user registration is done. Now for a name.
And so, yeah, as you've seen, there was a, in the cutscene, there was a poem that's being narrated in German. And just to give you guys more of a overview of what the whole .hack universe is about, or at least how the world a VR MMORPG game to be, is that basically there was this girl that was a poet, and yeah, as you can see, that poem was part of her poem, and she created that. And although what happened is that she died before finishing it, and this another man was, I guess, a game developer or something. I'm not exactly refreshed with all the story stuff, but yeah, I'll try to say it as best as I could. And so this developer, he knows this girl, and he decided to manifest or adapt whatever term you want to use, her poem into a game. And so this game turned out to be Fragment, and eventually Fragment was turned into the world, which is the VR MMORPG that this game is set into. And so yeah, I know that's pretty much a very clear-cut version of it. And so you guys can search on it online for more information. Or as far as I know, there are some lore bits in game. So of course we'll go explore those as well.
Yasuhiko's probably already there waiting for me. I'd better hurry.
Yeah, registration process for the role is finished. Confirming your name and character name. Okay, first off, the first time I saw this, name creation screen, I never got the point of having a username. I've never seen it used in game, as far as I know. Maybe it's just here for personalization purposes, I guess. And that's for our character's name. Of course, we'll be sticking with the canon character name, which is Kite. So let's go with that. And so in case you guys aren't getting it yet, this screen is the desktop. And yeah, I know, honestly, I'm quite intrigued of the .hack games. One reason is that because of these desktops, both these first 4 games and the GU games have these desktops. And we've got mail over here so that we can catch up with our friends, or maybe updates about the game and all that. And at the same time, you can personalize it and get as well unique news about what's happening outside the game. What's happening in the world, not the world game, but Earth, the world. And so yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, anyway, let's continue. Anyway, we've got 2 emails here from Cyber Connect Corporation. I won't be showing here. You can see some descriptions of the server root towns, which will be introduced to later. But yeah, each server root town has a description there. I won't be showing it to you guys, so you can go experience it for yourselves once you're there. So yeah, anyway, we've got a mail from Yasuhiko. Hey, did you finish registering? What kind of character are you? Oh, and like I said at school, you'll regret it if you use a smart-ass name. I'm Orca in the world, so keep that in mind. Don't call me by my real name. You can be a different person when you're there. Well, more like the guy you want to be. Anyway, I'll be at Root Town, which is true in most, if not all, things related to the internet. Anyway, before we go in, I'll let you guys see some of the news outside the world. Anyway, first is new transportation system operational. This is basically a new, transportation system. Anyway, next is the world, which is the game that we are playing. Tops 20 million. Wow, you know, that's quite unprecedented, I guess, for an MMORPG. Even, you know, in recent times in our real life, usually we see single player or multiplayer games get tons of sales instead of MMORPGs, because usually people prefer free MMORPGs. Anyway, Neuro Goggle FMD. This is basically their version of virtual reality, which is the version of virtual reality I was hoping for in our real world, because ours is basically a screen that's attached to our face and with gyroscopic features. And while that's quite immersive, I guess, compared to all previous mediums of video games, still, Neuro Goggle FMD is a lot more different from that, as you will be seeing as we play through the game. Anyway, 0.49% error rate has evolved. Oh, okay, it's sound recognition, which is a very big thing, I guess. Even now in our real world, we are using sound recognition for many different kinds of stuff. Anyway, WNC official statement of the network OS Ultimate. Okay, so if in our world most people use Windows, I mean, you know, the general public, as others also use Mac or maybe even Linux for different kinds of usage. Yeah, their world, the dominating operating system is Ultimate, and there was an incident called the Pluto Kiss, and in December 2005, in a 2-year period of following the incident, commonly known as the Twilight of the New Gods, is only a page in history. Yeah, I guess they didn't explain further here what Pluto Kiss is all about. Just so I'll give you guys the rundown of what that's all about. Pluto Kiss is basically a how do you say this? A virus that penetrated most, if not all, computers around the world, and it was created by a kid, I think, or something like that. Yeah, as a how do you say this? A countermeasure against Pluto Kiss, Ultimate OS was created, and so the rest was history. Yeah, as usual, that's a clear-cut version of that story. I don't fully remember it just yet. Anyway, let's save the game. Oh shit, we're only 9 minutes in game? What the hell? I'm too busy speaking, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, just so you guys, you know, understand a lot more about the game. Anyway, we've got the board here. Board as in forum board for the world game, which we'll be looking at later. Let's, get you guys introduced to the game. This is so nostalgic.
Hey, you made it. Hey, it's me, Orca, the Blade Master.
Whoa! You look so different from the real Yasuhiko. Nothing like the real you.
Hey, in this game I'm Orca. Regardless of what I am in reality, I'm pretty well known here. What?
Yeah, as Orca mentioned, he's quite well known in the game. You'll be seeing later as to why he is well known in the game.
No, you look great.
Anyway, take this. Member address is the flashmail address you can only access in the world. With flashmail, you can exchange messages with others in real time, as long as you are in the world.
Oh yeah, I haven't mentioned it, guys, but I'll be trying at the same time not only to finish the games but to 100% them. Meaning, we had access to all possible side missions, events, or whatever in the game before moving on to the next games and so on and so forth. Of course, we've got a limited time because we've got only about a month or less until last Recode releases. But, I've got no life. And so I've got lots of time to play games. Yeah, I'm just kidding, but still, I'll try my best.
It's mostly used by newbies to contact other players to form a party. Try it out by inviting me to join. First, press the triangle. In the menu, select Party. Next, select names of players who gave you their member addresses. Choose a player you want to invite to your party and send a flash mail. Since you just started, you probably only have my member address.
Yeah, as you can see, Orca is quite OP because, he's a veteran in the game and we're new, so there's definitely a difference in
Now,
power.
Press the X button twice to send
And
a
gold.
flash mail to me. Got it. Join my party. It's kind of weird mailing each other when we're...
Yeah, as you can see, he has 1050 HP
My
and you
name
only have
appears under your
63.
screen. That means I'm in your party. By the way, flash mail is only available when you're in a town. Oh, and you can't contact people when they're not logged into the world. People do have a life, We're not online 24/7. In other words, you can't always count on the same members to form a party. So, try to get as many member addresses as you can. You'll have more fun that way. Well, how you play is up to you. But since EXP and stuff isn't... You really don't benefit if you go solo.
I'm looking at you, Kirito.
Okay. Well, why don't we head off? There's nothing to worry about. I found a perfect place for newbies. This is the Chaos Gate. A sort of transfer device that takes us from one place to another.
And also, another warning, I guess. As typical of JRPGs, they have tons of exposition like this, tons of cutscenes and not much gameplay in the first hour of the game or maybe even the first 2 hours of the game. And so, my first few episodes of playing this game might just be, stuff like this, which isn't, at least in my opinion, which isn't a problem, but for you guys, you might get bored and might, skip to the gameplay stuff. But I suggest that you hang in there because so that you can understand more of what's happening in the game.
Now, press the X button. In the world, each play zone is called an area, determined by a combination of 3 keywords. Select New. This is the keyword screen. At the top is the entry plate. You put the 3 selected keywords one by one for each part. Left of the entry plate is all the You can collect more of them by reading your emails. Now, let's enter some keywords by select bursting from the list. Good. Next for part B, select passed over. For the last one in part C, select aquafield. Now you're done specifying the area. Oh, one more thing. You see the symbol on the left next to the keyword? That's the server symbol. It indicates which server you are currently logged onto. This symbol is Delta, so we're logged onto the Delta server. The list on the bottom right is the area status list. See the jewel next to the field type and dungeon? That indicates how the selected keyword For example, check the field type. See the jewel on the right? This means that the field type is being determined by aquafield, the keyword in C. We don't know what kind of field the current keyword will create until we get there. But once we learn the effect of that keyword, we can combine it with other keywords effectively. For more details, check out the board on your own time. Alright, let's get going. Select Warp.
Yeah, as you can see, the choosing of areas in order to go to dungeons and stuff is quite, maybe,
Before we get going, let me explain to you about the camera control.
as I was saying, maybe complicated. But yeah, it's honestly, you can just randomly choose stuff as long as you check the field type and the level limit of that field, honestly. But anyway, we'll explore those later on. And at the same time, I'll just skip this control tutorials for you guys, and except for the combat tutorial, I guess, so that you can see a bit of the gameplay of the combat system.
Now, let's get going on our quest. First, you see the red down arrow on it? In the dungeon's deepest level, there's a god statue that usually holds a rare item. Basically, the goal is to reach this statue. But enemies are often tougher down there, so gain some levels above ground. Okay, wait a sec. By using the fairy's orb, hidden data on the yellow areas on the map show magic portals, where you encounter... Alright. For a basic attack. By the way, started to get the hang of it, right? Okay, let's try using skills.
Yeah, so you guys can see the battle system is similar to most MMORPGs, which is like a point and click style. And yeah, this kind of battle gameplay or combat system is quite different from the one in That Hack GU series, which is, like I said, the trilogy sequel of this 4 games. And so yeah, you'll see quite the difference between the two, because yeah, there was quite a jump in, you know, game mechanics or graphics in general. And so yeah, although let's not judge this game based from that, of course. I honestly think that these games are still quite good despite all that.
Press the triangle button to open the menu and select skills. Okay then. Choose Repth from the list. When the target cursor appears. That's it. Pretty easy, huh? You can target a party member. Remember, you can only apply skills to target before using. Well, it's your turn to tell me what to do by using chat commands. Okay, I'll teach you the command to... Okay then, press the square button to open the menu. Next, go ahead and choose... Well, it's good to be the... If you use it well, you can bunch up on the enemy or give separate orders to each party member. When you add new members to the party, try various chat commands to see their effects. That's it for now. Just remember what you learned. When you think you're ready, we'll head for the dungeon.
Anyway, before we go to the dungeon, let's clear off some monsters to get some XP. Yeah, this is going to be pretty much a breeze because Orca is with us. Anyway, I don't have anything to put into this spring yet, but I'll just let you guys show what happens if I go to this.
This spring has a strange feel. Maybe I should throw in a weapon or a piece of armor.
Yeah, basically what that spring does is it if you throw an armor or weapon into it, it gives you something else in return or something like that. That's basically the mechanic behind those wells, which we'll be probably using in the future, of course. But for now, we don't have any use for it. Anyway, let's go to the dungeon. Yeah, gameplay is quite simple, nice and easy. but you'll see that the difficulty will ramp up in later moments of the game.
Now we can start exploring the dungeon. One thing you need to remember is that you can't gate out when you're in a dungeon. To gate out and return to the town, you have to... The sprite ocarina will warp you to the surface, but you can't use it This is the treasure box, but you should know that there are 2 types of treasure boxes. This one's normal. This one's booby-trapped. Notice a different color? Just use the fortune wire on it. See? Now it's safe to open.
There we go. Anyway, I'll let you guys see what those items we picked up. Resurrect, self-explanatory. As for the Hanged Man, yeah, these are basically scrolls which do different effects, of course. The Hanged Man, we use it against enemies to apply paralysis. We have also Speed Charm here to increase our movement speed. Anyway, let's move on. Another cutscene, of course.
What the? Did you just see that?
Yeah. Was that thing chasing her?
Yeah, but... something like that on this level?
Yeah, it's typical of these kinds of games or stories. We're just a beginner and things escalate way too quickly for us. Anyway, let's go look what happened to that girl and the thing that's chasing her. Yeah, it's a dead end. Of course, I'll be trying my best not to spoil anything for you guys as we see these cutscenes and all that, so you guys can experience it for yourselves. And at the same time, to be honest, I don't remember all of it that much anyway. So yeah, this is a good time for me to refresh my memories about this game.
Better watch out. We're trapped in here. In the dungeon, there are rooms with traps everywhere. The only way to get out of a trap like this is by activating all the magic portals in the room. All right, let's...
Yeah, as you can see, there are different, even the dungeons have different mechanics, which is quite nice, you know. You get to feel that MMORPG vibe or something like that. Yeah, usually dungeons can run for very long, you know, because they are big and all that, and with many different floors. But yeah, usually I go explore everything as much as possible. So if you guys follow through this playthrough, you might be seeing long dungeon times. Well, depending, of course, if I ever prepare myself first and all that, in order to get stronger and quickly get past through all these dungeons. But anyway, this is going to be a quick run, mainly because we've got Orca with us. He's quite OP for this kind of place.
This is the room where the statue is. There's only one of them at the dungeon's deepest level. And you can... That's enough adventure for now. Let's grab the treasure and get back to town, shall we? If we had a Sprite Ocarina, we could warp out it. So we gotta go back the way we just came.
Steel Blades, Rainbow Card, Grunt Doll. Okay, I'll let you guys see again what those items are. First off is... where is that? Grunt Doll, sell it for money or trade. Yeah, same with Rainbow Card. As for equipment, we've got a new equipment for Kite, which is Steel Blades. In case you guys don't know, there are different classes in the game, and Kite is a twin blade user, and Orca is a blade master. Yeah, I remember that correctly. And some skills are, tied to the equipment, not learning them and all that. There's no skill learning system. Well, there are by using items. But yeah, anyway, cutscene.
Or was the rumor true?
Take this.
Huh?
Please take this. There's no time. Please.
What's this?
A great force. The power it holds can bring forth either salvation or destruction at the whim of the user. It's coming.
Run! It'll kill you! What the hell? What is this? There's something wrong! Nothing works! Wasn't supposed to be this way. I'm sorry. Get out of here!
What was wrong with Yasuhiko? Why was he upset?
Yeah, you guys might have the same reaction. Why was Orca quite, have an exaggerated reaction for just a game like this? Well, you guys will see. Do take note that, I mentioned that this is a virtual reality MMORPG. And this isn't just virtual reality in the sense that you just wear the goggles and, the stuff there's just a screen in front of you. But virtual reality in this game is very different because it the goggles or the helmet or whatever you want to call it actually attach to your brain or something like that. It's not like they physically attach, It's like everything that we are seeing here is as if we're experiencing it in real life, as if we're actually inside the game, because the goggle is I guess, simulating it inside our brain and all that, creating this virtual reality world. And so, things can get quite complicated when it comes to things related to the brain. And you'll see.
I wanted to ask him, but he wouldn't even pick up the phone. And then, the next day, I found out that Yasuhiko had been hospitalized.
As you can see right here.
I rushed to the hospital, but they wouldn't even let me see him. But I guess it's better this way. I didn't want to see him all week, and he wouldn't want that either. But what the hell happened to him?
We'll find out soon enough.
I have a feeling that the key to it is somewhere in the world.
Yeah, I know. Some of you guys might be thinking the same as the earlier. It's just a game.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
And so, yeah, things are not that simple, which you will be seeing. Although, I guess in the end, the plot is quite ridiculous, I guess. But still, let's just experience it. It's quite enjoyable. It's just good to just, enjoy the ride. Yeah, due to some problems, you can only access Delta and Theta servers. If I'm reading that correctly. That's Theta, if I remember correctly. Anyway, that's that. I guess I'll just leave it that for now. Just an introduction for you guys.
I should post on the board about Yasuhiko. Maybe someone will respond to it.
Yeah, we'll be going into the game in the next episode. We just hang out here in the desktop and look at the boards and all that. Yeah, as Kite mentioned here, Orca has fallen into a coma, and of course that's not just a simple thing, especially since he got it while playing a game. So that's quite serious. And so now here we've got Kite asking if anyone else has experienced that or know anything about that phenomenon. Anyway, no one has replied, I think. Let's look at this stuff. I'll just blast through all of them, or not. That might take too much time. Anyway, we've got tons of things to read about in the boards. We've got some are even discussing about the new transportation system, the new goggle, and stuff. There's also the Spring of Mist here, which we encountered earlier. Anyway, and at the same time, these are some of the mechanics inside the world, which is depicted in this board as a version upgrade or something, which is pretty cool, honestly, that they wrote it that way. Anyway, I guess that's that. Yeah, as you can see, that's the person earlier, the girl that we saw, and she sent us a quite the garbled mail here. But as in case you guys don't understand it, her name is Aura and the subject is please, and to the one who holds the book, please, how do you say this again? Skaith is chasing for me, I think. Yeah, Skaith or Skeith, if you want to read it that way, is the the thing that was following Aura. Skeeth is chasing for me, or looking for me, I should say. Looking for me. There is no time. Please help me. That's pretty much the content of that mail. You can't read it, but I did, and I just said it to the viewers of this video. Anyway, that's that. Just to leave it at a cliffhanger, I guess. The next episodes will be having more exposition regarding to what happened to Orca, what's going to happen to us now, as we investigate about what's happened to him and all of that. And so, yeah, not much has happened and much time has already passed because I talked too much. I'm sorry about that. I'm just talkative when I actually know what I'm talking about. And, I'm quite excited to play this game again. And so yeah, I hope you guys stick around for this. This is going to be a long, long ride. 4 games, imagine, within less than a month. Honestly, the games aren't that long anyway. They're long mainly because once we hit a wall in progression in the story, we usually have to grind a bit or do something else in order to get past that. But honestly, the games aren't that long. Mainly because it's a PS2 game, and PS2 games back then might seem long, I guess, for us back then, because we don't get to have longer playing sessions back then as a kid, because usually we only play for an hour or 2 at a time, compared to now. It's pretty much normal for someone to play 4 hours continuously or something like that. At least in my experience, I do that, honestly. And games are life. Anyway, if you like the video, do like it, comment for your comments, suggestions, criticisms, or whatever, and hopefully you subscribe as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.